Hello you lot, Miller Corner here and welcome to the second part of my history on 60 years of small Fiats. If you haven't seen part 1, go check that video out first, but in short we learned about the Genesis that was the original 500, the Polish powerhouse that was the 126 and the 80s utilitarian quirk box that was the original Panda. In 1991 Fiat saw fit to replace the Panda, and what a replacement it got. The Cinquecento, which was actually the first Fiat solely produced in the Polish Tychy plant, which was sold to Fiat by the Polish state. The Cinquecento was the most advanced Fiat city car to date. It featured all-round independent suspension, standard front disc brakes, crumple zones to aid safety, and galvanised body panels to prevent rust. Bizarrely for such an advanced car for the time, the Cinquecento never offered power steering, but you could option power windows, a glass sunroof, a fully electric rollback sunroof similar to my temporary daily Seicento, and even air conditioning. All big car features for an early 90s city car. The smallest engine Cinquecento was available in Poland only, and it was a 704cc overhead valve 2-cylinder inherited from the Polish 126P. It made a sewing machine troubling 30 metric horsepower. Thankfully Poland and all other markets also got an 899cc version making 37 horsepower, but it was 1994 that saw some proper performance for the Cinquecento. The Cinquecento Sporting got a 53 horsepower 1108cc single point injected 4-cylinder from the Mark I Punto, but it was way more than just additional power that you got in the Sporting version. You also got lowered ride height, a front anti-roll bar, bigger 13-inch alloy wheels, and colour-coded bumpers and door mirrors. Inside you also got sportier seats, red seat belts, hello, a leather steering wheel and a leather gear knob, as well as a standard stereo, which is quite rare for a small car of the time. The Cinquecento Sporting was compared to the Mini for its character, fun drive and cute but cool styling, and I have to say I completely agree with that Mini comparison. That said, however, at the time the Cinquecento cost a little bit over 2/3 as much as a Mini Cooper, which goes to show that even back then if you wanted something fun, characterful and good value, you went to Fiat. Perhaps the most well-known Cinquecento was featured in the In-Betweeners, the famous yellow one with a red door after the original got smashed off. However, there is a bit of a misnomer with that one. The Cinquecento in the In-Betweeners is referred to as a Hawaii Special Edition. This is in fact a fictional model. The Hawaii never existed, and the car that's actually featured in the In-Betweeners is an 899cc Cinquecento with no sporting bits visible on it. There you go, that's yet another Hollywood rumour debunked. The Cinquecento was a proper step forward for Fiat. As well as being its first entirely Polish produced model, it also featured advances in technology, engineering, performance, safety and style. Fiat were bang up to date and arguably making one of the very best small cars of the period with the Cinquecento. But in 1998 came my favourite, the Fiat Seicento. In Italian, Seicento means 600, where Cinquecento means 500, and from 2005 onwards for Polish production, Seicentos were actually rebadged as Fiat 600s to celebrate 50 years since the original Fiat 600 came out. The Seicento retains the chassis and the dimensions of the Cinquecento and is best thought of as an evolution of it rather than a whole new model. It threw some curves into the mix to update the styling nicely, and it retained both the Cinquecento's engines, the 899 and the 1108, which for the first time was available in non-sporting variants. In the 2001 facelift though, and in the face of rising emissions issues, Fiat decided to kill off the 899 and all models were available with a now multi-point injected 1108 4-cylinder. Between 1998 and 2004, Fiat produced 1.1 million Seicentos, and it's one of those cars that if you go to Italy or to Poland, you'll see all over the place. It was the first Fiat city car to feature an airbag as standard. The middle-of-the-range SX version, meanwhile, came with the option of a City-matic gearbox, which was actually a clutchless operated manual. At the top of the range, the Sporting remained, obviously, and there was even a Schumacher special edition to commemorate Michael Schumacher's success in Formula 1 at the time. It's near identical to a standard Seicento Abarth, but the Schumacher does feature a chrome gear lever, a chrome handbrake surround, a sticker of Schumacher's signature on the boot lid, and a numbered plaque inside to denote which one you have. All cool features, but don't let an eBay reseller tell you that a Schumacher is rare or valuable, because at this point in time, they're not. Outside of Fiat's production run, the Seicento was also modified. German tuner Novitec actually released a turbo kit for it, complete with a 6-speed manual gearbox which practically doubled the power and took it up to 99 flywheel horsepower. The Novitec body kits were available separately and they're relatively rare even in Europe. They can be tracked down in Germany, and as this one I saw in Poland with the Novitec kit shows, it's a wicked addition to the styling. When Fiat official production ended in 2004, they continued to be produced by Polski Fiat from 2005 to 2010, and again, as I recently saw when I went to Poland, they are still all over the place and those cute little fellas are still going strong. What's more, the Seicento retains the Fiat characteristic of being small and light. It might be the same size and era as a VW Lupo, but it weighs 240 kilos less. That's right, the Lupo, which is not a big car, weighs a third more than the Seicento does. Fiat power. In 2003 came the replacement for the Seicento, the second generation Fiat Panda. It wasn't even actually planned to be called the Panda though. Originally it was going to be called the Jinjo, but Fiat decided it sounded too similar to Renault's Twingo, so the Panda name was revived for this new model despite it sharing almost nothing in common with the 80s original, particularly the styling, which took numerous cues from MPVs and estate cars, including the second gen Multipla. The idea with this was to make the car small but to make it look big, and big it was, winning European Car of the Year in 2004, but that said, Fiat kinda needed it to. At the time the company was going through financial difficulty and the Panda had to succeed to help save them. Thankfully though, it did. Fiat sold 500,000 Panda 2s in the first year of production, and in its full 9 years ending in 2012, Fiat sold a whopping 2.2 million of them. The Panda 2 was also reliable, being ranked a commendable 8th out of 152 cars in the 2006 Top Gear Reliability Survey. Speaking of Top Gear, in fact, James may love the Panda so much, he actually bought one. There were a number of variants of the Panda 2, including the LPG dual fuel natural power, the electronic 4-wheel drive equipped Panda 4x4 Gen 2, and the 100 HP. This hot hatch version of the Panda featured 4-wheel disc brakes, a 6-speed gearbox, a sport button, and this wicked body kit. It was all backed up by a 100 horsepower variant of Fiat's 1.4 16-valve engine. Not content with having made another awesome Panda 4x4 though, which incidentally was another massive off-road success story, in 2007 Fiat made the Dakar to compete in the year's Dakar Rally. This thing was awesome, with automatic 4-wheel drive courtesy of a viscous coupling, a locking differential, and a beefed up 1.3 litre multi-jet diesel engine, making 105 horsepower. Fiat built 2 Dakars and they did indeed compete in the 07 Dakar Rally. Sadly they retired on stage 4, but when you consider that the number of cars that finish a Dakar Rally is practically single figures, the fact this tiny little Fiat city car even took part is massively impressive and goes to show how capable Fiat's small cars are. The Panda 2 was a massive success story for Fiat as a result of its utilitarian nature, charm, character and low price, but in 2007 that same platform would be used for something altogether more stylish, the brand new Fiat 500. Because the 500 is based on the Mark II Panda, that means that a brand new 500 actually has 15-year-old underpinnings. Not that that put people off though. When the car was launched in 2007, some 250,000 people attended and there were cars displayed prominently in 30 Italian cities. The new 500 is sold in over 100 countries worldwide, including North America, which actually makes it the first new Fiat to come to America in 27 years. There are over 30 international special editions of the 500, not even counting variants of the Abarth or the 500 500X versions. Highlights include the Riva edition that I saw in Germany earlier this year and the Ferrari edition. There were only 60 500 Ferrari editions made for the UK Ferrari dealer network. They're obviously painted Ferrari Rosso Corsa, they feature a Rortier exhaust, sports pedals, red calipers, red stitched steering wheel and a plaque on the dashboard to denote how special they are. These do occasionally come up for sale for inevitably far too much, but there's no denying that having a Fiat 500 Ferrari on the drive is proper street cred goals. The hot Abarth version of the new 500 is actually the longest running current production hot hatch. It may have been updated and revised over the years, but it's been basically in production for 10 years now. The Abarth version is much loved by its owners on account of its power, its noise, its style, but most importantly, its fun and its character, which have been traditional for Fiat dating way back to that original 500. When you take into account the Abarth and the 500X models, the 500 range spans over £13,000. The base 500 is just £10,800, but go right the way to the top and you're looking at over 23 grand. The new 500 has been a massive success for Fiat and arguably has done more for the financial state of the company than any model in recent memory. You'll see these anywhere in the world. The new 500 may not be for everyone and it's certainly not the manliest car on sale, but I can't help but still like them and there's no denying that Fiat character. The 500 is obviously still in production and in 2011 it got an updated version of an older model to join it in the lineup, the third generation Fiat Panda. The Panda 3 was partially designed by Giugiaro, at least until the design house actually sold out to VW, which prompted Fiat to continue the design of the Panda 3 in-house. The resulting design is much cuter than the second gen. It's made up of a number of these rounded edge squares, which Fiat calls squircles. Depending on your point of view, that's either delightful or cheesier than a 90s TV show. The Panda's charming and utilitarian nature remains though, with a whopping 14 interior storage pockets and cupboards. Take that, Volvo estate. Along with the 500, the Panda 3 was used to generate interest in Fiat's twin air engine, which is a 0.8 litre two-cylinder turbo making 84 horsepower. More significantly though, the buzzy little two-pot is also said to average between 60 and 70 miles to the gallon. What I love about this is that Fiat are clearly forward thinking, but they're not resorting to electric or hybrid. Good on ya. The Panda 4x4 is back for the Mark III, but in 2014 there was an even beefier version released, known as the Panda Cross. The Cross features wider wheels with beefier tyres, bigger bumpers, included skid plates, and an increase in ride height. And I want one. The Panda 3 hasn't been quite the success of the previous models, due mostly to its stylish bigger brother, the 500, but there's no denying it's still got charm, character, fun factor, and all the other things that I love about small Fiats. It's been over 60 years since the original 500, and in that time Fiat have built up a solid reputation for simple, fun, characterful, charming, and affordable small cars. I love all of these models, and there's something about them that just makes them that much more interesting than the token Corsa or Fiesta. Hopefully Fiat's future has got many characterful, charming and fun to drive small cars in it, just like these ones. Thanks for watching everybody, I really appreciate it. If you learned something from this 60-year history of small Fiats, then make sure to give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next Miller Corner video is released. But for now, thanks once again for watching everybody and have a brilliant rest of your day. See you soon and have a good one.